Elizabeth Audencream.
This one's wife. It's not him, it's her. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Unless an individual is an active supporter of this one's wife, the vast majority of people fall into two camps in relation to her. There are those that have no interest in her, find that she has no impact on their lives and don't want to hear about her. And then there are others whose views are simply they think that she is a problem. How much of a problem can vary. There are those that think that she is not a pleasant person, that she is conniving, manipulative. There are those that understand that she is a narcissist, although they don't necessarily fully understand what that means. There are some that have grasped that she is a narcissist and, through the application of my work, understand what that indeed does mean in terms of her behaviour. There are others that take great exception to the way that she has conducted herself and behaved, and it's suffice to say that there are some individuals who really, really cannot stand her, and it drives what might even be viewed as a pathological hatred of her. The point is that when it comes to her, most people are either not interested or she's a problem. It's just a question of how much of a problem do you regard her. But when it comes to Prince Harry, the views are more divided. There are those that understand that he's a victim of a narcissist and recognise, particularly those who've been victims of narcissists themselves, how that can influence behaviour. There are those that point to the fact that prior to her arrival, Harry was well liked. Yes, he'd had a few issues, but he got on with the job that was required, and he was largely well liked by people, and that all changed when she came along. There are those that are involved with narcissists who understand that the presence of the narcissist, the abuse, the isolation, the ostracization that takes place can cause an individual to act in a wholly different manner as a consequence of the diminution of their emotional empathy. That individuals almost begin to behave like narcissists. Some call it narcissistic fleas, but that's an unhelpful and inaccurate accusation. You don't become a narcissist because you're involved with another narcissist when you're an adult. You don't catch their fleas. Everybody has the capacity to engage in behaviours which are unpleasant. Many people do not because it's regulated by their emotional empathy. It acts as a form of safeguarding to prevent them from going there. But in some instances, individuals who are subjected to those external stresses, and there are lots of different ones, but one of the main ones is abuse, it causes them to be unpleasant to family, nasty to friends, that they believe everything that they're being told by the narcissist, that it colours their worldview. And there are many people that understand that Harry has been subjected to that form of manipulation and influence. There are others that view Harry as a brat, and that he's always been a brat, and that the palace had just been good at keeping him shielded from all of that, by ensuring that he operated within the auspices of the royal family and its apparatus and machinery. The worst of Harry was never really seen by the world, and that he's a petulant man-child who's always been spoilt, and that he has embraced this one's wife because it serves his own purposes in relation to the fact that he feels hard done to, and he has a victim mentality also. There are some that think that Harry is a narcissist. Well, they're wrong in that regard. There's no doubt that he has strong narcissistic traits, as I've explained on numerous occasions, but there is divided opinion as to whether you think that he is a victim of a narcissist which has caused him to behave in a wholly reprehensible way and that one day he'll wake up and regret what he's done, or that he actually is a bratish man-child who is just as much a problem as this one's wife, although he may not be a narcissist, but that his behaviour is such and the traitorous way that he's behaved has meant that he should be cast out and kept in the cold also. Interestingly, Becky Pemberton writes in The Sun, tensions have been running high within the royal family since Prince Harry and this one's wife stepped back as senior royals. However, a PR expert has claimed that it's not Prince Harry that some people have a problem with. Speaking on the Sun's royal exclusive show, Mark Bukowski claimed, "People still love Harry. They still like him. That's a problem. Their problem is they don't like the woman he loves." News.com.au's royal reporter Bronte Coy agreed, saying, "He was Britain's favourite son, their cheeky son, and so popular. It's only been a few years since he left, though it feels like a lot longer. But I think people still hold great affection for him, even though they never really knew her. They didn't even know her as a royal, really, as it was such a short period. Some would suggest they didn't really need to know her for too long, because her behaviours became all the more apparent." Bukowski argued that there was a huge outpouring of love for her initially, as people felt Harry had found someone fairly late in life, at least in terms of royal standards, where they sort of get married off early. Bronte agreed, saying this one's wife was given a rock star welcome during her first royal tour to Australia in 2018. She added, "You cannot imagine a more rock star welcome for anyone short of the Queen, the late Queen. The outpouring of love, the crowds that were there, and of all ages. She was very loved in that period." However, Bukowski claimed that this one's wife was so used to Hollywood life that she was at odds with royal life. Well, I don't think that's accurate. She was never a Hollywood star. She was a cable actress. She never really embraced that life in the way that some people have suggested. The PR expert added, "Of course, when you come from Hollywood and the star system, when you're used to being on the red carpet for X, Y, and Z, making sure you've got your table in restaurants and that you've seen around, they weren't the premier act. Actually, in some ways, being the spare turned out to be an advantage for him. While his spare narrative portrayed him as saying, 'Poor me, I was the spare, I was bullied by my brother,' and all that nonsense, being the spare was a huge advantage." After tying the knot, in 2018, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced in 2020 they would be stepping down as senior working royals and would be relocating across the pond. Prince Harry has since criticised his family in his bombshell Oprah Winfrey chat in 2021, where he opened up about feeling trapped within the institution. He also claimed he and this one's wife weren't given the support they needed within the royal family. Yada, yada, rhubarb, heard it all before. In two new YouGov polls commissioned by The Times on either side of the Atlantic, it was discovered that just 26% of the British public have a positive view of Prince Harry compared to 62% having a negative view. However, the study found Prince Harry's far more popular stateside than in the United Kingdom. Over in the States, 49% of US citizens had a positive view of Harry, 24% reported a negative view. It doesn't mention the status of this one's wife. Indeed, other than the fact that she's mentioned as the person that many people don't like, as the person that he loves, she barely gets a mention in the article. Now, this is interesting, because Harry at the moment has been flying solo in New York. There has been talk about him doing his own thing. This one's wife largely appears to be hiding at the moment. Could it be that this is another article that's seeking to somehow rehabilitate the image of Prince Harry with a view to him making some form of return to the royal family? What do you think about that? Do you think he's escaping the shackles of the narcissist? And what do you think to the suggestion about the fact that he still remains well loved? Do you think that he's lost the goodwill, particularly of the British people now, as a consequence of the fact that he has continued to behave in the way that he has? Furthermore, do you think that his behaviour is primarily as a consequence of the influence and manipulations of the narcissist, which has caused him to act mainly out of character, to exacerbate existing narcissistic traits of his? Or do you think that he is as complicit as she is? Even though he's not a narcissist, do you think that he has behaved in a reprehensible way and has done so quite readily, quite happily, irrespective of her influence, that he has gone along with what she's wanted because it's what he wants also? And he's made that decision clear of thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section as to what you think it is. Do you think Harry is the victim of a narcissist and that's what's chiefly influenced his behaviour? Or do you think he's as culpable as she is in basically behaving like a shit? I look forward to reading your comments. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.